Do I even need to do an introduction for this? How's it going, everyone? My name is Louis, and today we're going to be listening to The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. Let me address the jacket real quick. Long story short, back during Halloween, Joseph, the singer of our band, and myself, we played a gig downtown, and it was a costume festival, basically. And we decided to go as Brendan Urie from Panic at the Disco and Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance. And we got a huge reaction out of everybody. But a lot of my friends came up to me and they were like, "You haven't even listened to My Chemical Romance." And this was before I listened to 3 Cheers, so I really didn't know anything. And so in a lot of ways, that night really motivated me to listen to My Chemical Romance. And I actually really liked 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. I have a lot of those songs saved on my playlist, and I still listen to them to this day. That makes me really excited to get into Welcome to the Black Parade now, because I know a couple of the songs, the singles, but I'm really curious to see how their style adapted over time and how they changed up their sound in this one. The Black Parade came out in 2006. It is made up of 14 songs, and it is 52 minutes long. First song is The End. Let's go.
Now come on, come all to this tragic affair. Wipe off that makeup, what's in is despair. So throw on the black dress, mix in with the lot. You might wake up.
I love how this is swaying.
Someone you're not. If you look in the mirror and don't like what you see, you can find out firsthand what it's like to be me. So gather round, piggies, and kiss this goodbye. I'd encourage your smiles. I expect you won't cry.
Wow, this is so epic right out the gates. They're not wasting any time. Those finger snaps? Wow. Lots of dynamics. Okay, we're going to pause it just for a second so that way we can talk about that first song. Wow, that was another epic intro to one of their albums, because if I remember correctly, the first song of 3 Cheers was Helena? Same thing as I was saying during 3 Cheers, Gerard just continues to elevate the band to new heights. Gerard continues to explore the themes of coming of age and the angst during your teens. And you can see that in some of these lyrics, not knowing who you are, your self-image, your self-worth. You could definitely see those themes running in the first bit of that song. I love how he said, "Gather around, piggies." I thought that was a little cheeky. And then it had that middle section where it just exploded. That was a lot of fun. I felt myself swaying back and forth. It was a very theatrical song. So another great intro to an album that I understand is their best album. So let's keep going. The next song is Dead. Ooh. There was a flatlining at the beginning. I love this guitar.
And if your heart stops beating, I'll be here wondering, did you get what you deserve? The ending of your life, and if you get to heaven, I'll be here waiting, baby. You get what you deserve. The ending of your life won't break, then your heart can't take the sound. You hate the news that you're dead. it ain't exactly what you planned, and wouldn't it be great if we were dead? Dead. Tongue-tied and oh so squeamish. You never fell in love. Did you get what you deserve? The ending of your life, and if you get to heaven, I'll be here waiting, baby. You get what you deserve. The ending if your life won't wait, then your heart can't take it. Damn, you heard the news that you're dead. No one ever had much nice to say. I think they never liked you anyway. You're dead.
Whoa.
Me from the hospital bed. Wouldn't it be great to take a pistol by the hand, and wouldn't it be great if we were dead? And my honest observation, during this operation, found a
I like the switch up. There's trumpets in this?
Maybe just 2 weeks to live.
Wow, that was a really cool section, actually. Wow. Wow. Oh man, that was really, really good. I loved that song. I don't even know where to begin with this song. Obviously, they had that flatlining bit at the very beginning, which went straight into that first line that said that your heart stops beating. So really good call and answer there. I really liked how Gerard changed up his approach in this one compared to what we heard in Three Cheers, in the sense that there's a little bit more of a groove. It's a little more free-flowing, and even the rhythms and the guitar were very groovy. The accents were a little more laid back than what we heard in Three Cheers as well. To me, this was sounding much brighter than Three Cheers. Obviously, the message is still in the same ballpark, but just the instrumentation, the tone, his voice, even those sections like the bridge and the chorus had a lighter tone to it. The story going on in this song is, so it looks like he's having a conversation with his partner while she's on her deathbed, and he doesn't know where she's going to wind up, whether she's going to be in heaven or in hell. He says, "Did you get what you deserve?" So he doesn't know. If you get to heaven, so again, he doesn't know. And somewhere during the chorus, he says that no one ever really thought you were a good person to begin with. So by him saying that, he knows that too, but he still continues on. So you can see the angst and toxicity in his approach towards love in this. Same thing as I was saying before, a lot of people can relate to this. I can see why a lot of people gravitated towards this type of music, not just for the music, but the message. I thought the song was solid by the time we got to the chorus, but it really stuck with me by the time we got to the bridge. And then, of course, that outro. It was so epic. And I love how this last section was layered right before the line was finished. The next line started. I thought that was a really cool effect. But yeah, this is a really solid start to this album. The next song is This Is How I Disappear. Man, this sounds like it could have influenced Avenged Sevenfold. Yeah. So this one kind of changed up its tone compared to the other songs, where the other ones were a lot brighter. This one started getting more sinister in its approach. I was actually getting flashes of Avenged Sevenfold, so I'm curious if they were influenced by Avenged Sevenfold during this time. A lot of interesting things happening with Gerard's voice in this one. He was using a couple of filters, and somewhere around the end, he was adding some falsettos. Musically, I really liked the different rhythmic changes throughout this. Was very upbeat at the beginning, and then had this halftime breakdown, and then it sped up again. So I really liked what was going on there. It would be a very proactive song to play live, I can imagine. I'm curious what the message is behind this one, because it seems like there's some references to like vampires, to zombies, to like different kinds of monsters. And maybe this is how he's describing love, like this toxic relationship or whatever. Yeah, I'm not too sure about this one. I'm curious to see what everyone else's thoughts are. Otherwise, as far as the actual music is concerned, it's still clicking for me. I really like this one. The next one is The Sharpest Lives or The Sharpest Lives.
hours when you're out on your own. If I crash on the couch, can I sleep in my clothes? I spent the night dancing.
I like those whispers.
I suppose if it looks like I'm laughing, I'm really just asking to leave. This alone, you're in time for the show. You're the one that I need. I'm the one that you loathe. You can watch me corrode like a
I like how the voices are layered right now.
all the poison away with the boys in the band. There's a place in the dark where the animals go. You can take off your skin in the cannibal glow. Juliet loves a beat and the lusty commands. Drop the dagger and lather the blood on your hands. Rodeo. On a band shows. So why don't you blow me? What gives me my shaker? Give me a shot to remember. And you can take all the pain away from me. You can say I will surrender. The sharpest lives I've been sent me as to lead. And let it burn all the empires. So bright the sun is the shade to rise and be. You know, with all of these vampires. So you can leave like the stain abandon me.
Ooh. Those chants are really good. I like how that ended. Man, this is a really tight fucking band. The way I know these songs are clicking for me is I can feel myself air drumming without even moving my hands. I can just feel that energy just rushing through me, wanting to play these live. This is a really, really good song. This song during the chorus, I started getting flashes of To the End from Three Cheers. I don't know, I felt like the rhythms were almost identical there. But that's not a bad thing. I just noticed that. I love the line in the chorus where he says, the sharpest lives are the deadliest to lead. Kind of like he's taking jabs at people in positions of power. And I really think that it's reflective in the album cover with the marcher. And I really think that is reflective in the album cover with what looks like a drum major. And it's almost like he's the ringleader, commanding everyone and giving them their cues. I don't know if that's the reason behind the artwork, but that's a comparison that I like to draw right there. He did mention vampires, kind of like what I was saying in the song earlier. Not only is the band really tight, but I also love that I'm able to follow the song really easily from part to part. Especially at the end of the second chorus, there's an instrumental breakdown. And then right as soon as that breakdown ends, we go right back into the final chorus. That was, from a musical standpoint, a really good transition, and I loved how tight that was. So now we're going to go into the track that everyone is probably waiting for. I'm going to preface this by saying I have heard this song before, and in fact, my band is going to start playing this one live, so I'm going to have fun with this one. Do you care if I air drum? I'm going to air drum to this one. Right as soon as the keys come in, you already know what song it is.
When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. He said, son, when you grow up, would you be the savior of the broken, the beaten and the damned? He said, will you defeat them, your demons and all the non-believers, the plans that they have made? Because one day I'll leave you a phantom to lead you in the summer to join the Black Parade.
Wasn't expecting to get a workout there. But I don't know what else to say about that song. It's a lot of fucking fun to play, that's for sure. I've heard people say it is the anthem for emo kids, and I don't even listen to emo music that much, but even I know that. So many different changing parts, so many highs and lows, the speeding up, the slowing down. If you listen to that song and it doesn't immediately click with you, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Like, you're a lost cause at that point. Now it's time to get back into it. So the next song is I Don't Love You. I really like the vibe that I'm getting right off the bat. Wow. Good for him. Wow.
Sometimes I cry so hard from pleading, so sick and tired of all the needless beating. But baby, when they knock you down and out, this is where you ought to stay. Well, after all the blood that you still owe, another time was just another blow. So fix your eyes and get up, better get up while you can. And would you even turn to say, hey, I don't love you like I did yesterday? Well, come on.
This is a great fucking song.
When you go, would you have the guts to say, I don't love you like I loved you yesterday? I don't love you like I loved you yesterday. I don't love you like I loved you yesterday.
These guys just continue to impress me every single time. That was a really good switch up from Welcome to the Black Parade because of how epic and energetic that song was. But to follow it up with such a different pacing with just as much of an epic sound is mind-blowing. These guys are so versatile in that sense. And this is unlike anything we had heard in Three Cheers that I can remember. This one had a very timeless feel. I think under a different musical style, this sounds like it could have come right out of the 50s, in my opinion. I could hear a lot of Queen in this, to be honest, in the structure of this song. From part to part, its transitions, even during the solo, it got really, really heavy and epic, and then the solo just got cut in half, and the energy completely changed to where it was just the vocals and the keys, which I really liked the texture of the keys as well. The effect that they used sounded like something right out of the 80s as well. And then the way it lifted back up. Very, very heartbreaking song. Good for him in the sense that all the other songs so far had a very toxic aura to them. You could tell that there was a lot of damage and destruction in those relationships, and clearly there is in this one as well, but this one, it seems like he's learning from his past and he wants to move forward from this relationship. And right now, this is probably my favorite song off of this album so far. Everything else is amazing, but this is definitely the highlight for me so far. The next song is House of Wolves. Already like how groovy this is. The guitar almost sounded like howlings.
I know a thing about contrition because I got enough to spare, and I'll be granting your permission cause you haven't got a prayer. And I said, hey, hallelujah, I'm gonna come on, sing the praise, and let the spirit come on through you. We got innocence for days. Well, I think I'm gonna burn in hell. Everybody burn the house right down and say what I wanna say. Tell me I'm an angel, take this to my grave. Tell me I'm a bad man, kick me like a stray. Tell me I'm an angel, take this to my grave. Oh, no. You play ring around the ambulance like you never gave a care. So get the choir boys around you, it's a compliment, I swear. And I said ashes to ashes, we all fall down. I wanna hear you sing the praise. I said ashes to ashes, we all fall down. We got innocence for days. Well, I think I'm gonna burn in hell. Everybody burn the house right down and say what I wanna say. Tell me I'm an angel, take this to my grave. Tell me I'm a bad man, kick me like a stray. Tell me I'm an angel, take this to my grave. You better run like the devil cause they're never gonna leave you alone. You better hide up in the alley 'cause
Oh, I
they're
like
never
these
gonna
breaks.
find you a home. And as the blood runs down the walls, you see me creeping up inside. I made a bad motherfucker tell your sister I'm another. And I said, say what I wanna say. Tell me I'm an angel. Take this to my grave. Tell me I'm a bad man. Kick me like a stray. Tell me I'm an angel. Take this to my grave. Tell me I'm a bad man. Bad man. Tell me I'm a bad man.
The guitar is going fucking nuts right now. For all of the different reasons that I Don't Love You was my favorite song, this is a close second. I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but the beginning had this almost Alley Cats feel to it, kind of bluesy, jazzy. I loved what he was doing with the chorus, and then when he started spelling out I sin, that's a really smart decision, but also it keeps it playful. I think that's the right way to say it. It keeps it still kind of childish, and that's a really interesting element to this kind of song. Something that I haven't really mentioned in this review, but is not going unnoticed, is the other musicians, especially the guitarists. I think in this album, they are really shining and showing their versatility compared to Three Cheers. They're doing a lot of different genre bendings and tones in their guitars. And I love that breakdown in this one after, I think it was the solo, where the music just cut out and then it was just Gerard singing and then everything comes back in and then they pause again. That was a really cool breakdown. I loved how this song was developing, and this is another one of my favorites off of what has been a very dense album. The next song is Cancer.
Turn away if you could get me a drink of water, 'cause my lips are chapped and faded. Call my Aunt Marie. Help her gather all my things and bury me in all my favorite colors. My sisters and my brothers still. I will not kiss you, 'cause the hardest part of this is leaving you. Now turn away, 'cause I'm awful just to see. 'Cause all my hair's abandoned on my body, all my agony. Know that I will never marry. Baby, I'm just soggy from the chemo, but counting down the days to go. It just ain't living, and I just hope you know.
Amazing. Gerard continues to wear his heart on his sleeve, and he's not afraid to be vulnerable. He's showing all the vulnerable sides of him in this music. Obviously, the message is very direct. I don't have to break down the song, but his delivery in the vocals is so agonizing that the message comes across so much darker, accompanied by the piano playing. It just gives it all new levels of sophistication, but also emotion. It has a brightness to it, but also with his voice, it is very tragic as well. The biggest gut punch in this entire song to me was "And Bury Me in All My Favorite Colors." Songs like this should really be highlighted when we're talking about this type of band, because the music and the overall aesthetic of these type of bands lead people to believe that they are less talented or less intellectual than their appearance leads people to believe. But hopefully people can start to explore and expand their boundaries to where they can accept and really acknowledge these different areas of music accordingly. So the next song is Mama.
Mama, we all go to hell.
It almost has like a Spanish feel to it.
Mama, we all go to hell. I'm writing this letter and wishing you well. Mama, we
Or folk.
all go to hell. Oh, well, now, Mama, we're all gonna die. Mama, we're all gonna die. Stop asking me questions. I'd hate to see you cry. Mama, we're all gonna die. Hey, when we go, don't blame us. Yeah, we let the fire just fade us. Yeah, you made us so famous. We'll never let you go. When you go, don't return to me, my love. Mama, we're all full of lies. Mama, we're meant for the flies. And right now they're building a coffin your size. Mama, we're all full of lies. Well, Mother was the one into my legs and to my tongue. You should have raised a baby girl. I should have been a better son. If you could count on the infection, they can amputate it once. You should have been, I could have been a better son. And when we go, don't blame us. Yeah, we let the fire just fade us. Yeah, you made us so famous. We'll never let you go. She said you ain't no son of mine. For what you done there, can't find a place for you and just your mind, your manners when you go. And when you go, don't return to me, my love. That's right. Mama, we are gonna hell. Mama, we
Oh man,
are gonna hell.
the emotion that just changed in this part. It's all twisted. I love this switch up.
And if you would call me your sweetheart, I'd maybe then sing you a song.
But the shit that I've done with this record, I got you would cry out to rise alone. We're done after all. Through fortune and blame we fall. And if you could say that I'll show you the way to return from the ashes you fall. We all carry on. We're brothers in arms.
that was the most unexpected song out of this entire album so far. That was a total curveball in all the best ways too, because I thought it was a Spanish influence at the beginning with the guitar, but once the vocals and the rhythm came in, you could tell it was a folk song. The message here sounds like it's a son who got sent out to war, and he's having a conversation with his mom. It seemed like he was a troubled son, and he didn't live up to his family's expectations of him. It seemed like he was totally off the deep end with where he was and what he was going through all the way through this. And the rhythm kind of kept it very sinister but playful at the same time, which seems to be a running theme through My Chemical Romance's music. The war themes were really being showcased in this middle section here. Even through all that he's going through, there's still a little bit of truth that is peeking through while he's talking to his mom, saying that he could have been a better son. She should have raised a daughter. And then she responds saying that she's disowning him. And then as it keeps going on, those musical switch-ups, it starts feeling more twisted, more deranged and unhinged. I really like how this song was structured. So this song was just pushing all different areas of what they can actually bring to the table. I really like this album, and I'm so happy that I'm finally getting to listen to it. The next song is Sleep. It was an interesting intro. I like the guitar here.
I've seen.
So it's a recording of some sort. Oh, wow. Those little tape recordings that were placed within this song were very eerie. It felt like from a therapy session or some sort of personal tape from what sounded like it could have been a surviving victim or maybe veteran of some sort. I'm not too sure. Every single one of these songs has been epic, but every single one of them has its own identity, its own set of colors and approach that make them so unique from one another as well. It feels like it's a clash of perspective from the innocent or the ignorant, those that are free and don't have to worry about the brutality and ugliness of war, and then of course the veterans who are on the front lines and are experiencing everything firsthand. And those experiences twist your psyche. You don't come back the same person, and it can affect your relationships, your friendships, your family dynamic, all sorts of things. There's this line in here that says, "For the monsters that I've been," and that one really struck me because when you're thinking about all those past experiences of his relationships or maybe friendships and how those went, how he played a role in his own destruction, like he lived multiple lives, that he didn't quite have his own identity, and he's still continuing to search for himself. These recordings are almost seeming like waking nightmares for him. And then at the very end, when it's repeating those lines, "just sleep and then wake up," the part where he's repeating "wake up" was giving me goosebumps, because as the instruments were getting louder and louder and he's screaming, the line was so loud and blending into the instruments that it was becoming like white noise. And when you think about it from the perspective of the veteran, let's say that person was in a coma. I can only imagine the person on the opposite side who is trying to bring them back into this world and just screaming at the top of their lungs to bring them back. The fact that that scream is almost being drowned out by the world around it, it's like you're just falling on deaf ears. And that is really, really scary to think about. I think as far as the entire song, it's amazing, but especially that little detail with how it ended was very, very unique and very effective. The next song is Teenagers.
They're gonna clean up your looks with all the lies in the books to make a citizen out of you.
This part is familiar, so I heard this.
And keep an eye on you, son, so they can watch all the things you do. Because the drugs never work, they gonna give you a smirk, cause they got methods of keeping you clean. They gonna rip up your heads, your aspirations to shreds. Another cog in the murder machine. They said I'm teenagers scared the living shit out of me. They could care less as long as someone will bleed. So darken your clothes, I'll strike a violent pose. Maybe they'll leave you alone, but not me. The boys and girls in the clique, the awful names at the stick. You're never gonna fit in much, kid. But if you're troubled and hurt, what you got under your shirt will make them pay for the things that they did. They said, "Oh, teenagers scared the living shit out of me. They could care less as long as someone will bleed. So darken your clothes, I'll strike a violent pose. Maybe they'll leave you alone, but not me." Oh, yeah.
I love this switch up from the band in their styling, but this song has a way darker meaning now with the rest of the album's context. There's a cowbell in here.
Maybe they'll leave you alone, but not me. All together now, teenagers.
That's a great song. Nothing over the top compared to a lot of the other songs that we've heard from MCR at this point, but it's still really effective. To me, I think this song is talking about the expectations that are set on teenagers as they are growing up and becoming adults. Basically, it's saying that they have two options. Either they join the workforce or they join the military, basically, from what I'm seeing. And the song is basically saying that the adults aren't going to take you seriously. You're not going to change anything. So it's almost like an anthem to overturn those norms, in my opinion. And to me, where it says, so darken your clothes or strike a violent pose, it's either saying darken your clothes as if put a suit and tie on, or strike a violent pose as if getting ready to go to war. That's how it's coming across to me. Musically, super simple song, but the message is really effective, and I can see why it is one of their most popular songs. And now we have Disenchanted.
When I was there on the day they sold the cars for the Queen, and when the lights all went out, we watched our lives on the screen. I hate the ending myself, but it started with an alright scene. It was the roar of the crowd that gave me heartache to sing. It was a lie when they smiled and said you won't feel a thing. And as we ran from the cops, we laughed so hard it would sting. Yeah, yeah. Oh, if I'm so wrong, how can you listen all night long? How will it matter after I'm gone? Because you never learned a goddamn thing. It's just a sad song with nothing to say about a lifelong wait for a hospital stay. Well, if you think that I'm wrong, this never meant nothing to you. I spent my high school career spit on his shoved to agree, so I can watch how my heroes sell a car on TV. Bring out the young guillotine.
I love what the guitars are doing here.
Show 'em what we all mean. Yeah, yeah. Oh, if I'm so wrong, how can you listen all night long? Now will it matter long after I'm gone? Because you never learned a goddamn thing. It's just a
Love how this is ending. Wow. I don't know what more I can say about this album and this band, because every single song is epic in its own right, and the amount of emotion seems to evolve with every single song. This one, I was just so lost in the music. I just was sitting there soaking it all in. I didn't even want to speak during this one. I just wanted to hear the story that was taking place here. There's parts of this song that feels like it's going down memory lane. The chorus, I think, is one of the deepest parts of this song, because it says, "If I'm so wrong, how can you listen all night long?" And it's a very self-reflective point, because you can accuse all you want, saying that you're in the right and whoever else is in the wrong, but if you keep eating it up, then do you ever really learn anything? A little bit further, he says, "You're just a sad song with nothing to say." And that is a really big gut punch, because you're just sad for the sake of being sad. There's no story behind it. There's no substance there. Whether he's saying that their emotions are not real or it's self-inflicted, the point being is they're stuck in a setting or stuck in the past, and they can't move forward because they don't take the necessary steps to move forward. But this song, the way it's structured as well, is just delivering on all fronts. I just wanted to keep this song going and going. I could listen to this song over and over again. Pretty much this entire album, to be honest. I really like all of these songs, and it's going to be really tough to decide which one is my absolute favorite. The next song is Famous Last Words.
No, I know that I can make you stay, but where's your heart? But where's your heart? But where's your... And I know there's nothing I can say to change that part, to change that part, to change. never speak.
I like how the song gets to breathe right here.
And unafraid, asleep or dead. 'Cause I see you lying next to me with words I thought I'd never speak. Awake and unafraid, asleep or dead. 'Cause I see you lying next to me with words I thought I'd never speak. Awake and unafraid, asleep or dead. 'Cause I see
I love this halftime right here.
next to me with words I thought I'd never speak. Awake and unafraid, asleep or nothing you can say can stop me going home.
I like how that concluded, actually. The way the music just kind of faded out, the chanting was over, and it was just the chorus. That was really, really good. Whether his partner stays or not, he's going to continue on his path through his life and eventually make his way home. Whether he's talking about the afterlife or he's just talking about his place in the world, I'm not too sure. But this album seems to be talking a lot about death, so very well could be talking about the afterlife. As I was listening to that song, I was starting to really notice the maturity of the band as a whole. I felt like Three Cheers was very upbeat and fast-paced. By design, I think it actually worked to their favor. I really enjoyed that album. But this album, it's a little more in the pocket. It feels more distinct, very honed in. And that's building off of what was already a very excellent album from Three Cheers. So this album has so far lived up to all of the expectations that I had on it, not just from Three Cheers, but knowing that this is their most popular album. What I noticed in this song is it's Gerard, or this character, still dealing with their inner struggles, their self-reflection. They know the steps that they need to make to better their life, improve their friendships, relationships, and family dynamics, but it's a tough road ahead and a tough pill to swallow. A life that's so demanding, but he doesn't have the tools necessary to move forward. And he says a love that's so demanding, so kind of goes back to his experiences with past relationships, how they were so toxic, and those relationships weigh so heavily on him. They stress him out, and they suck the life out of him, basically. So to the point where he says he can't speak. Maybe he feels trapped. Maybe he feels abused. I'm not too sure. Further down, he says, these bright lights have always blinded me. And that could be talking about the fact that his previous lives, he'd been living in the shadows. He'd been living on the outside. Could be talking about his personality. And now that he's in the spotlight, it's scary. It's foreign. It's unknown. And he's not used to that. So he feels himself going into his fight or flight mode. When that bridge came in and the music just fell out from underneath it, I thought that was a really smart choice. Finally gave the song some time to really open up and breathe, and it just gripped you all the way to the very end with the repeating chorus, and I thought that was very well done. I loved this song. We have one song left, which is Blood, and it says it's a hidden track, so let's go.
courage or complete cooperation. Send your roses when they think you need to smile. I can't control myself because I don't know how. When they love me for it, honestly, I'll be here for a while. So give them blood, blood, gallons of the stuff. Give them all that they can drink and it will never be enough. So give them blood, blood, blood. Grab a glass because there's going to be a flood. A celebrated man amongst the girls. They can fix me proper with a bit of luck. The doctors and the nurses, they adore me so, but it's really quite alarming, 'cause I'm such an awful fuck. I gave you blood, blood, gallons of the stuff. I gave you all that you can drink, and it has never been enough. I gave you blood, blood, blood. Kind of human wreckage that you love.
Okay. Wow. Definitely an interesting choice to finish out the album. But I think that it actually pretty much ties a nice little ribbon around the entire album with the theme that has been going on through it, with death and war. Been talking about what I assume is some sort of veteran who was at war and is clearly dealing with PTSD and all of the violence and killing that he had done over there. This song, I believe, is taking jabs at the idea that we need war in the first place. But it's the delivery of putting it in this almost timeless sitcom-esque, feels like something that you hear on Fallout. I think that it was a very tongue-in-cheek song to really drive it home, the message that this entire album had been saying from the get-go. This is a insanely packed album. I am really blown away by this, actually, because I was already really on board with the style of MCR from 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. I had just listened to it maybe yesterday, and I was like, man, this is so good. And I know that The Black Parade is their most popular album, so surely it is better than 3 Cheers. And I just couldn't quite grasp how that would be even possible, but this just elevated what was already being built in that album. And you could tell that they've grown as musicians in that short time. Now I can really appreciate the fan base's love for this band. Very happy for all of y'all who are hopefully being able to see this band for the first time live. Let me know if y'all have any thoughts on this review. Let me know if there's anything that I missed. I'm sure there is, and I would love to have that conversation with you in the comments. Also, let me know your favorite song off of this album. I think right now my favorite is I Don't Love You. I Don't Love You or House of Wolves. I think those are my 2 favorites. Thanks again as always for hanging out, and I will see y'all in the next one.